Good evening, 4-3. Tonight we're going to focus on Lesson 10. Use place value understanding to round multi-digit numbers to any place value using real-world applications. Alright, so we're going to be focusing on this number, 845,001, to the nearest 1,000, then 10,000, and then 100,000. So I'm going to write this number. I'm going to write this number 3 times, since we have to round it to different places 3 times. Now tonight, I would like you to try to visualize that vertical number line to help you round if you run into some trouble. So letter A is asking us to round to the thousands. So we need to remember that place value chart and locate each place. Ones, tens, hundreds, and here's the thousands. The 5 is in the thousands place. So now we need to look at this information and say, where would this be on our vertical number line? Is this closer to 845,000, since we're focusing on the thousands? And if we moved up 1,000, it would bring us to 846,000. Since this information tells us that we're just a little above 845,000, just a little bit, just by 1, we are closer to 845,000, not 846. All right, the next one we're going to round is to the 10,000s. So again, let's go through each place. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. The 4 is in the 10,000s place. If we look at this information to the right of the 4, this is the place we have to focus on. We see that there's a 5, and this is just about where the midpoint would be. And at the midpoint, we always round up 1. So we're going to be rounding up to the next 10,000s. So this would be either 840,000 or 850,000. But because we're just a little above the midpoint, we would be rounding this to 850,000. It's closer to 850 than 840,000. And our last one, we're rounding to the 100,000. So let's go through each place. This is the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, the 10,000s. Here it is, the 100,000s. The 8 is in the 100,000s. Now we need to look at all this information to the right of the 8. And it's a 45,000. Now we need to say, is this closer to 800,000? Or if we round up 100,000, it would bring us to 900,000. Which one are we closer to? Well, because of this number right here, it's a little less than that 50,000 mark, that midway point. It's just a little less. It's 5,000 less. This number, this would stay the same, and this would be rounded to 800,000. Since we're doing the 100,000s place, is it 800,000 or 900,000? And this information right here tells us it's closer to 800,000, not 900,000. Now, if you recognize, you see this number has been rounded to 3 different places because it all depends on what place value we are rounding to. And that's a really useful tool in real life, being able to round that same number to different places. Really becomes helpful. All right, in this word problem, we have in the 2011 New York City Marathon, 29,860 men finished the race, and 16,928 women finished the race. Each finisher got a t-shirt. About how many men's t-shirts and about how many women's t-shirts were given away? Now, because they're using the word about, it gives the students, yourself, the opportunity to choose where you want to round this number to. Now, since you're given the opportunity to choose where you would like to round your number, I'd like you to think about an idea called the front end strategy. And that's where I like to go to the highest place value. In this case, it's the 10,000s. And we're going to round to the nearest 10,000s. So looking at the men's number, looking at this information to the right of the 10,000s, are we going to round up to 30,000? Or are we going to round down to 10,000? Sorry, to 20,000. So we're going to round down to 20,000 or 30,000. Since there's this 9, and this number right here is closest to, it's really close to 30,000. So there was about 30,000 men that got a t-shirt. All right, now let's do it for the women. Okay, here's this information right next door. It is 6,928 to the right of the 10,000s. Is this number right here telling this number to go to the 16,000s? I'm so sorry, to the 10,000s or the 20,000s? Since this is the number that we are rounding, we need to either round it to the 10,000s or the 20,000s. And since this is past that halfway mark of 15,000, that would be our halfway mark. That's past it. It's closer to 20,000. Okay, so there was 30,000 men's t-shirts that were given away and 20,000 women's t-shirts that were given away. If you get stuck, rewind the video and try to go through it again. Just if you have any questions or not sure how I did it. Again, remember that place value and try to visualize that vertical number line in your minds. Okay, in our next word problem, the 2010 New York City Marathon, 42,429 people finished the race and received a medal. Before the race, there's that key, before that race happened, the medals had to be ordered. If you were the person in charge of ordering the medals and estimated how many to order by rounding, would you have ordered enough medals? So 42,429. This is a real life working word problem right here. Because when we're trying to plan parties or ordering enough amount of pizzas, you never just want to have enough. You might want to have a little bit more, but you never want to be short. So being the person in charge of ordering, it's a lot of stress. So you got to be very careful. So if we were going to do that front end strategy and we locate the 10,000, since that's the first, and we would do that standard algorithm, that standard way of rounding, and we looked to this information right here, that would be closer to 40,000. Now, we would be short a bunch of medals if we ordered only 40,000. So in this case, we would have to break a rule of that rounding because we want to make sure that we have enough medals. So we would want to be as close as we can to this number. So maybe we would say we would round 45,000, or just to be on the safe side, 50,000. So this would be a very much different word problem than you'd be used to, because you're used to just following the rules and knowing that you need to look next door to the information, the numbers next to it, and are you closer to the 40,000? Are you closer to 50,000? And we would say that we're closer to 40,000. But because you have to put a specific order in and be close to this number, you can't round down. You have to be able to round up, either rounding up to 45,000 or 50,000. These would be two acceptable answers for this word problem. This is just a perfect example of how the math world and the real world just don't line up. But just remember, when we have to order something, we always want to have extra. We don't want to just have amount, or we never want to order lower than what is required. All right, 4-3, let you give it a try. Let's see how well you remembered what we did tonight. Complete each statement by rounding the number to the given place value. 783 rounded to the nearest hundred is, fill in the missing number. 951,194 rounded to the nearest hundred is, complete the statement. 897,100 rounded to the nearest 10,000 is... In 2010, 28,357 of the finishers were men, and 14,072 of finishers were women. About how many more men finished the race than women? To determine your answer, did you round to the nearest 10,000 or 1,000? Explain. Excellent job tonight, guys. We'll work more on this skill tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.